In a follow-up to my main segment over at timcast.net, check it out if you haven't already, I talked about the stupid news cycle that we're in and the stupid politics that we get because apparently it's what we deserve. You know what? It's a drama day. For whatever reason, today is all about the drama. See, I wake up and there's stupid drama, Fox News, CNN, so I get into this thing with the dude on Twitter, and then we have this other lefty activist journalist trying to drag me, and I'm like, what's with the drama? And then all of a sudden you get Nancy Pelosi calling Donald Trump morbidly obese, China saying that Trump rules by witchcraft. You know what? This is the politics we deserve. Trump has fired back. Nancy Pelosi is a sick woman with lots of mental problems. I love it. You know, it's a love-hate thing. I long for the days where, you know, when I was younger, I was under the impression that politics, I was a kid, I was so stupid, was going to be like, you know, two people passionately arguing their cause, saying, no, listen here, if we tax too much, we stifle business. No, you don't understand, these bigger businesses are exploiting the system, they must pay their fair share. I'm like, these are really interesting points to be made. Now it's just, you're fat, the president is plump, he's an orange, Cheeto dictator. Joe Biden had the absolute worst insult. President Tweety. Are you kidding me? He calls you Sleepy Joe, creepy Uncle Joe. Well, I don't know if Trump calls him creepy Uncle Joe, but he calls him Sleepy Joe Biden. Everyone else calls him creepy and handsy and all that stuff. And the best you could muster is Tweety? Come on. Nancy Pelosi it was actually a really good dig at Trump because the delivery was actually spot on. I don't know if you saw it, but she said, you know, she was asked about Trump taking hydroxychloroquine, and we'll read some of this, and I got another, you know, I'll show you some more. The choices for Biden's VP. It's just, we're in some kind of satirical clown show or whatever. But anyway, Nancy Pelosi was asked, and she said, you know, I don't think, he can do what he wants, but I'm worried about, you know, someone who, you know, in his age group and his, weight group, morbidly obese. It's funny. I think it's very, very funny. It was excellent delivery from Nancy Pelosi, who, mind you, could be easily torn apart in much worse ways. Okay, if she wants to rag on Trump, and that's clearly what she was trying to do by calling him morbidly obese. Trump is not morbidly obese. Trump is just obese. Trump should lose weight. I think it was funny nonetheless, and I think President Plump is still kind of funny. But Nancy Pelosi, hey man, glass houses, stones, you know, pots, kettles, black, you know, the whole thing. Nancy is I'm not gonna play the game. People are throwing a lot of okay, I'll do it. In response to what she said to Trump about Trump, people are now calling her an alcoholic, making fun of her teeth and her inability to speak, and they're calling her like the mummy politician or whatever. So it's like, this is what we get, I guess. Let's read apparently what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump slams Nancy Pelosi as sick after she called him morbidly obese and claims research warning hydroxy is dangerous is a Trump enemy statement as he doubles down on taking it to prevent coronavirus. He blasted Speaker Nancy Pelosi as a sick woman with a lot of mental problems after she called him morbidly obese, and he claimed academic research showing the dangers of hydroxychloroquine was done by his enemies. Quote, Pelosi is a sick woman. She got a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems, President Trump said during a visit to Capitol Hill where he had lunch with Senate Republicans. Pelosi said the morbidly obese president was putting his health at risk with his daily dose of hydroxychloroquine in an interview with CNN Monday night. It's just, who cares? I love it, man. Listen, this is the politics that we've earned in the reality TV era. And they like to blame Trump for it and say that, you know, Trump is the one doing this. It's his fault. Actually, I'll throw it to Family Guy. There's an old episode from a couple of years ago I was watching recently where they actually meet Trump. And of course, you know, Seth MacFarlane is a lefty dude. So you have Trump as this very obese, like morbidly obese with tiny hands and, you know, an orange painted face. And he gets into a fight with Peter Griffin. This is actually a really good point. I think Seth MacFarlane's defense is poor. It is a cartoon show. I don't know what's supposed to be serious or not. But Peter Griffin says something about Donald Trump being like awful and why can't he just be normal and stuff. And then Trump in the show, his response was, but what about you? You're Peter Griffin. And Peter says, who am I? You know, I'm nobody. And Trump says, no, you're Peter Griffin from Family Guy. All of these young people who they heard their first gay, Jewish, or black joke from you. And then Peter's response, which I believe is like Seth trying to defend himself, is, yeah, but people can turn me off. You're on like all the time. I appreciated the argument, the back and forth. But the reality is Trump wouldn't be possible without someone like Seth MacFarlane and without, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, South Park. It wouldn't be possible without Bill Maher or Jon Stewart. Trump is the product of the culture. Everything led up to this moment. All of the edgy jokes, the ironic, Nazism, whatever you want to call it, it was all people growing up watching you guys, these liberal pundits and journalists, not journalists, I'm sorry, comedians, people like Seth MacFarlane making these jokes, which created the environment for this, this raucous internet humor, mockery, insults. And then along comes Donald Trump. And Donald Trump says it like it is. Now, I don't know if he's actually saying it like it is. A lot of people say that's what he's doing, right? What I mean to say is Donald Trump just kind of has no filter. He just says stuff. And people often drag him for it, and a lot of people love him for it. This was the perfect person to embody all of the anger of the people who are tired of the media, who had been doing the same thing to them. Combine this with cancel culture, which is the natural conclusion to what the left had been doing. It's exactly what you get. You have people like Seth MacFarlane, right? This is amazing. The bleeding heart liberal character, the liberal douche. That's what, Brian Griffin kind of is him, if you watch Family Guy. You have the mockery of the right, the insults, the derision, the offensive jokes, but you also have the social justice, the we're doing good, we are helping everybody. And the natural conclusion to these two things is edgy free speech comedy and insane social justice. This is what we've created. Then Donald Trump comes around and he starts talking in a way that speaks to the people who like the edgy shock humor. They thought it was funny. Trump's an entertainer. He's a funny guy. He really is. You can't deny it. Anybody claiming Trump isn't funny is lying. He really is. He's even self-deprecating. The dude knows how to make a joke. But he also has no filter. So because of Trump and the way he talks, everyone else gets mad and says Trump is doing it when he's not. Trump is a symptom of what's happening, not the cause of it. He embodies the anger of the people who are tired of the elites of the establishment mocking them, looking down on them, spitting on them, and making fun of them on TV. So then these people, these establishment people, respond in kind. CNN's Jim Acosta becomes a reality TV host. That's the way we're going to make it, right? You get a bunch of people on YouTube doing the same thing. And then you get Nancy Pelosi calling him morbidly obese. And then you get a whole bunch of people saying, well, if you say it, I'll say it. Then we saw some people were tweeting and making fun of Stacey Abrams. And I saw another tweet from someone saying, why are you dragging her into this? If Pelosi wants to make fun of Trump, don't fire off at somebody else, make fun of Nancy Pelosi, or don't make fun of anybody at all for their appearance or looks. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what your morals should be. This is a story from the National Review, Biden's most ridiculous Veep prospect. I mean, look, I bring her in now because Abrams is, in my opinion, another example of the absurdity of modern politics. I don't mean this anything necessarily personally. Well, I don't know how to describe this criticism, but she wore a cape. Okay, she wore a cape. She did an interview. I took a picture of her. She was standing shrouded in mist, backlit, wearing a cape. What is happening? You know what, man? I don't even know what we're supposed to be fighting for at this point, because look, the Republicans have some core issues: liberty, free speech, things like that. The Democrats argue for the same things while doing the opposite. I don't even know what the Democrats want to do. Do they want immigration or no immigration? Do they want free health care or public health? Like, what are they campaigning for? What are they advocating for? They seem to be just doing the exact same thing Trump does. It's like there's no actual politics anymore. This is why I think, politics has long been a popularity contest, right? Who's cooler, who's funnier. That's why Trump beat Hillary Clinton. And very, very, by thin margins, mind you. Now, he won the Electoral College by a decent amount, but in some states by only thousands of votes. Trump was more popular. He was funnier. A lot of people don't like him, but he was a funny guy. He's a famous celebrity, and Hillary Clinton was detested by a lot of people. Maybe Joe Biden will win this time around. I really don't think so. But I think what we're seeing here with the insults, yeah, we are going to have a popularity contest, and it's not even going to be a question about it. I mean, people used to say it was a popularity contest. Figuratively, they were saying it half jokingly. Now it's like, it's straight up. Like, what policies is anyone putting forward? Trump's going to come up for 2020 and be like, we're going to make this country great and we're going to deal with China and stuff. And it's going to be like, okay, there's some semblance of policy. But what comes in 2024? If the political rhetoric we have is right now is basically like Trump's fat, Pelosi's old, Stacey Abrams wore a cape and all this nonsense, then what do you think's going to happen? It's really going to devolve into like, don't vote for that guy. Did you see the shoes he was wearing? What a loser. What a horse face. And people are going to laugh and they're going to love it. And they're going to say, yeah, you tell him. Right now, politics has almost nothing to do with policy. That's why people are saying, I'm conservative, but conservatives know I'm not. Because policy-wise, I'm not. And that's why I was willing to support someone like Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard for their policies. But where were they in the culture war? Yang and Yang supporters were middle of the road. Fans of Joe Rogan, for instance. Tulsi Gabbard, same thing. Although their policies were left, center left, and progressive, when it came to cultural issues, they were normal people who actually talked about ideas. The Democrats didn't want that. They didn't want Tulsi Gabbard because she was the wrong culture war candidate. So they went after her, and the media smeared her and wiped her out. Andrew Yang had a bunch of good policy ideas. I'm a UBI skeptic, to be honest, but I was hoping that we could at least try and get somebody who wasn't a potty mouth, who actually had some ideas. Joe Biden has no idea what's going on. He doesn't even exist. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll wrap up on this point. If the Democrats found someone who had Trump's policy positions, maybe a little to the left on some issues, a little bit, no potty mouth, calm, collected, I think they'd win, whoever this person was. They can't do it, though, so they don't do it. Instead, you get Trump, and Trump will win, and they know he's going to win, and that's why they don't bother, I guess. They can't beat him, fine, whatever. What happens in 2024? You need to be tough. You need to be authentic. You need to be real. But what you don't need to be is, what you don't want to be is plastic. And you don't want to be what Trump is. You can hold his positions, but I tell you this, and I mean it, I know a lot of people really like the way Trump acts. He's got a lot of supporters who love his attitude, loves how he insults these people. I think regular Americans, the ones who just want to go to the beach or go to the gym, who want to work, come home and chill, would prefer if Trump wasn't tweeting nonsense all the time. His diehards love it. It's funny. But I've talked to a lot of regular people. This is just my assumption, my opinions. If Trump toned things down, he'd probably get a lot of support really, really fast. But he can't. He's Trump. So what do we get? Over popularity contest. And in that regard, Trump will win. Stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.